What's up, my friends? What's up, Facebook Live? What's up, Periscope, my Twitter followers? What I'm going to talk about today is for you guys out there that are hustling. You're taking a break. It's Sunday. You're trying to maybe get better results in your business. Maybe you're watching some football, enjoying your Sunday. And what I wanted to talk about was basketball and something that I really enjoy, something that I've talked about with Rebecca, my amazing girlfriend, amazing coach, amazing mentor, right? And we talked about how basketball or sport or anything that you're good at or competent at is something that you can use to get better results inside your business today. So, like for me personally, what I like to use as, metaphorically speaking, for business is basketball. And basketball, if you're a basketball fan, tune in, share this video around. If you like this content, drop me a comment, let me know. I appreciate the viewership, right? So like with basketball, for me, what it taught me in terms of like how it's helped me today in business and entrepreneurship is the work ethic, right? Is practice, right? Like in basketball, if you want to get a good jump shot, right? If you want to get the ability to shoot, to score, you got to be able to practice. You need to know how to put the ball in the hoop, right? And it's just like with business, you need to know how to close the deal, right? Like Rebecca will tell you, my amazing girlfriend coach, right? She'll tell you closing is that's the number one most important skill. If you don't know how to sell, if you can't close, that's where your problems will come from, right? So like with basketball, if you can't put the ball in the hoop, you're not going to score. If you can't offer value to the team or to your coach, you're not going to get playing time. You're not going to get playing time. And what I did was I was super passionate about basketball. I wanted to practice all the time. I played every single day. I practiced out in the summer in the heat when a lot of my friends and people were, inside chilling, playing PlayStation. I was out in the 95-degree humid weather and shooting free throws, right? Getting my form down, right? Understanding the mechanics. It's everywhere. From your feet all the way up to the top of your head. Just like in your business, you got to be quick on your feet. You got to make fast decisions. You got to be able to take risks. You got to have good balance. You got to be able to, what's that called? You got to be able to adjust and, be flexible, right? Remain resilient, remain persistent in your end result, like where you're trying to go. But in the process, along the journey, you got to be able to, get around obstacles. You got to be able to get around defenders, like in basketball. You got to be able to offer more to the marketplace, give more to receive more, just like in basketball. If you want to get more playing time, you had to give more, right? So you had to be like a specialist. You had to be really good in one area. So like with me, I always had a really good shot. I won like 4 free throw contests. I practiced 3-pointers and free throws all the time, right? I practiced so much where I just got everything down pat, right? Like the wrist, the flick of the wrist, letting the ball roll to your fingers when you shoot the ball, when you release it. The point at which you release the ball will determine the arc, the backspin, the ability for, the ball to go through the hoop. Like all of those things, the elbow, your balance, your shoulders, your feet, the bend in your knees, the waist, like everything counts. Everything counts if you're trying to make a shot, if you're trying to improve your shot, improve your free throw percentage, improve your 3-point shot. So just like in business, everything counts. Everything matters. Everything adds up. Like your ability to, to put yourself out there, your ability to market, your ability to close the deal, your ability to recruit new people. Everything counts. Everything counts. Just like in basketball, every little thing counts. The footwork, your ability to shoot, your ability to score, all of that stuff matters. And if you wanted to get better, if you wanted more playing time, what you had to do was you had to prove to the coach that I'm worth the extra playing time. Like, put me in. I can hit the 3-pointers. I can make my free throws when I get fouled. I can defend. I can rebound, right? I'm an all-around player. You kind of want to be the same thing. Not kind of, But you want to be the same thing when it comes to home business, right? When it comes to home business. And if you're going to become a success, you can't just do that overnight, right? Unless, if you want to become a success overnight, like Rebecca says, then move to a planet where the days and the nights are 10,000 hours long, and you'll become a success overnight. But obviously, that's not gonna happen. So like you got to put in the time, you got to put in the work ethic, you got to put in the practice, and that was something that I did to get good results in basketball, like to get more playing time or to have good games, to have more fun, to win contests. Like I said, like I would go out there and I'd just practice and practice and practice and just shoot 100 free throws in a row, like just constantly shooting and shooting and shooting, right? Until the point where, here's a quick fact, the best that I always kept track. The most that I ever made was like 95 free throws out of 100, right? So like that's a professional mark. That's something that and I did that. I did that a few times where I hit the 90 mark and that high. Those are really good percentages, right? And the only reason I could get that though is because I put up tens of thousands of shots, right? So 3-pointers, free throws, getting down the form, getting the rotation right, listening to my coach, not just doing it by myself all the time, right? I got tons of coaching from grade school, high school, and up, right? Just tons of coaching. Was always willing to put in the extra practice and do what they told me, right? Being able to let your ego go and humble yourself, just like in sports, just like in soccer or football or basketball, is so important for business too. Because if you're not willing to humble yourself, if you're not willing to say, I don't know what I don't know, and I need to learn from someone that does know, then you're going to remain stuck. That's the people that didn't see playing time were number one. The people that didn't put in the time, the people that didn't invest in themselves. Like they didn't buy basketball training videos that I watched and sat down. They didn't buy the new basketballs and shoot thousands of shots every day in the summer, right? They didn't go to the basketball camps. They didn't find extra coaches. They didn't invest in athletic directors, right? Those are the people that they didn't play, or they didn't get as much time maybe as they would have liked. But you can't blame them. I mean, you can't blame the coach or someone for not playing you necessarily if you're not putting in the time, right? I guess that's more of a political debate. But the purpose of the video is talking about how when you're shooting 100 shots, when you're putting up 100 3-pointers, when you're doing the ball handling drills to get better with your left hand, your right hand, right? It's just like in business. You got to think like, if I can go outside and put up 100 shots, you should be able to do the same thing on Facebook or Twitter, or prospecting, talking to people offline. Talk to 100 people a day, but don't expect a standing ovation just to come up because you just did some work, right? You're like, when you're outside practicing, you're not just going to magically arrive in the arena, right? You're practicing so then when that day comes, you make it count. You practice and you talk to all these prospects. And these are direct tips that I learned from Rebecca, by the way. Rebecca Bardes. If you don't know, go to RebeccaBardes.com. You will find tons of free training there. But what she was telling me is it's the same thing. Like whether you're playing basketball and you're practicing or you're prospecting 50 to 100 people a day, it's the same thing. You got to have that mindset where I'm just getting better at this. But then when the time comes, when someone comes around and is like, man, I really like your videos, or dude or girl, I really love your products, your skincare products, or your health weight loss products, or maybe you're selling basketball DVDs, or maybe you're selling some kind of affiliate product, right? When someone comes and they're ready to buy, that's when that practice pays off. That's when you're ready to say, I can help you, right? I can close the deal. I can make the 3-point shot. I can swish my free throws. I can dribble around the defense. I can be an all-around player, right? I can write, I can sell, I can speak, I can coach, whatever, right? That's what you want to have. But it doesn't just happen that way. It doesn't just happen that way overnight. It doesn't happen that way entirely by yourself, right? Putting time in by yourself and practicing when people aren't watching, that's what's going to build the character. That's what's going to build resilience. But in the end, you got to invest in yourself. You got to get outside of yourself and say, I don't know what I don't know. Even the best in the world, guys, the Kobe Bryants, the LeBron James, people like that, the best basketball It looks like it's trying to they were always getting a coach. They hired people to make them better, to make them physically stronger, mentally more capable, right? When it's the fourth quarter and you know the game's on the line, you've played 112 games this season and it's in June and you're playing in the NBA Finals and the game's on the line, it's going to come down to who wants it bad, who wants it the worst, who wants it bad enough, and who put in that practice, who put in the time in the previous 9 months of the year, who was willing to go in day and day after day and work and do, you know, what you're passionate about, right? To pay, you have to pay that price in order to reap the rewards. It's not just going to come overnight. And you see it all the time. Like, there's people that are like, it's kind of crazy to think, and it's kind of cool. There's like people that are my age that play in the NBA, or people that, around that age, which is just kind of crazy to think. I'm like 22, and there's some people that are getting paid to play sports that they love, right? Because they're good at it, they're athletic at it. But sometimes where people mess up is they take what was given to them for granted, right? And then when you do that, it's not going to be granted to you anymore. And that was actually something else that Rebecca shared on her wall, and she's teaching about a lot of times, is you got to remain grateful, you got to remain humble. Otherwise, what's given to you, what you don't use, what isn't practiced, is gonna disappear, right? So the people that get into the league or make it to the the next level or whatever, sometimes they fade out. Sometimes they get injured and then they're done. They're in it for the money and then they're done. They quit. Well, they could have put in a 15-year career and left a legacy, or just won a championship or had a more fulfilling career, but instead they fizzled out after 3 years. They made it to the league, but then they lost it all, right? Like, just because you make it to the top, just like in sports, like in business, just because you make it to the top doesn't mean that you're going to remain there. It takes a lot to get to the top, but it also takes a ton to remain there, to stay relevant, to stay good. You got to be on your craft again and again and again and again, right? Constantly, I was outside, always constantly practicing, dribbling with I could shoot left-handed. Like, I can shoot a ball left-handed, right? And do layups and shoot free throws and make shots left-handed because I practice. And and that's what it takes, right? To be able to do that is to practice the dribbling drills over and over and over again. Practice, the fundamentals, the footwork, all of that stuff, the athleticism, right? The running and jumping, the conditioning, being in shape. It's the same thing in business. You got to go day in and day out. If you want to get better at your business, you got to practice at your business. You got to treat your business like a sport, something that you're passionate about, something that instead of just getting the trophies or winning the awards, you're going to be paying the bills, you're going to be making money, you're going to be creating a life around it, right? So that should be enough motivation alone than just sports, right? And if you're competitive like myself, make a game out of it, right? Make a game out of your business. Do whatever it takes, right? Put in the practice. Realize it's not just going to happen overnight. You got to put in the time, put in the 10,000 hours, and that's when the results start to come. But hopefully you guys like this video. I got my Periscope over here again, Facebook Live, so that's why I'm looking at different screens sometimes. But if you like this video and it kind of resonated with you, feel free to share this video, and take into heart today. Like today's Sunday. A lot of people, taking breaks or goofing off or whatever. Maybe you're like hungover from the weekend. You got to ask yourself, like, do you want to be stuck in the same place where you're at today a year from now? And if the answer is no, you got to start doing things differently. Start putting in more practice. Start practicing better, right? And the other thing is, it's not always about what you put in. Like, you could put in 8 hours in the gym, but be screwing around the whole time, and I could go in there in 1 hour and get up more shots than you and be more productive. It's about what you put in, the time that you put in, right? So keep that in mind on this Sunday. If you like this video, share it up, comment, drop me a comment below. Let me know, what's your favorite sport, what's the problem that you're having in your business right now, and we'll have a conversation in the comments below. But this is Corey Neese, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.